Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is a little bit of a random video. I have been doing a makeup clear out, which I think there will be a video about that in more detail soon. But as I was doing the clear out, it became very clear to me there are certain pieces of makeup that I definitely don't use anymore because they're too old, but I've kept them for kind of like sentimental reasons or because I just wanted to remember how good the product was. And maybe it was a way for my brain to be like, okay, find something similar to this, especially for items that are no longer made, things that are discontinued. And I don't know what I'm calling this video. It's gonna be like the makeup graveyard, makeup memory lane. But I have a box of things that I picked out during my declutter that I wanna talk to you about. Some of them, like I said, are still available and some aren't, but they're just pieces I put aside when I was doing my declutter where I was like, man, that was good. Man, I love that. And I just thought I'd talk about it. So I think we all have those items that we either repurchase because we're scared of them being discontinued. And some of these I do have backups of, thankfully, but some are just no longer made and they just hold like sentimental memory. Some of them it's even more about the packaging that I liked, but I just thought this could be a fun sort of chatty video to walk you through. So I don't know if I'm gonna do a particular order because this is all kind of like mixed up, but I feel like I'm gonna talk about bases first. And I've needed to throw this away for a while now because I can't keep using it. It's definitely way past its sell by date. It's the Tom Ford foundation stick. Now there are, every now and then I see these in the makeup outlet stores in England. I've seen them every now and then, but I wore the shade Fawn 4.0, and sometimes you can find people selling like back stock on places like eBay and stuff like that. Obviously it's hard to know for sure if it's legit, but this foundation stick, of all the foundations I've ever tried in terms of a stick, this one was special. It was so beautifully dewy and not oily, not greasy, incredibly moisturizing. I used to have all the colors of this in my professional makeup kit. I used to love it on mature skin, on very dry skin, like normal to dry skin, it was great. And to this day, I don't think I found a foundation stick as good as this one. So yeah, I don't think this is available anymore to buy, but I loved it. Another base that kind of was giving me like all the feels when I was doing my like makeup declutter was this one, which is also no longer available. It is the Fiona Stiles Luminous Finish Foundation Concentrate. And again, I had all the shades in this in my pro kit. It was, as the name would suggest, luminous, glowy. It's made by a makeup artist, Fiona Stiles. It's a fantastic makeup artist. I love her makeup aesthetic. I feel like she's very much someone who celebrates skin. And this foundation, again, for red carpet, there was no SPF in it. There was no SPF in this one as well, actually. And I think that's why these two were both kind of like favorites within my pro kit. But this foundation, oh, it's so good. And I just had to hold on to one to like remember the formula. I think as someone who worked as a professional makeup artist, sometimes it's just wanting to remember the formula, even though I won't be using these anymore. Next up is, who remembers this? And I don't know if this is still available or not. Kevyn Aucoin Stripped Nude Skin Tint. So, so good. Again, I found myself having like a real moment for all the products that I've had that are made by makeup artists, or at least designed by makeup artists. Kevyn Aucoin, he was one of the OGs. But this, again, it just looks like skin. Like very natural looking, very fresh looking, but not too dewy. And yeah, I have shade 2 and 3. I had all the shades in my kit, but I actually brought extras for me. So these ones I have a bit left in that are in date. And they're so good. But yeah, just lovely, lovely base product. My belief is you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money to get great makeup, great skincare these days. But I remember, I think Lindsay Kelk gifted me this. And it was one of those products where I was like, I saw how much it cost and I was like, ooh, but it was really, really good. It is the La Mer Cushion Foundation. I feel like cushion foundations really had a moment and then people kind of stopped talking about them, but I love the concept of the cushion foundation. I wore the shade Warm Vanilla 23 and I've kept this because I actually would like to buy a refill for this. I feel like it is it's like kind of my go-to winter foundation. I loved how this felt on my skin in LA winter, and of all the very, very ridiculously expensive foundations I ever got gifted, this one did impress me. And a lot of times I'll find myself being like, yeah, it's nice, but you can get something similar by Nars, you can get something similar by Shiseido. The drugstore is the best it's ever been, but when it comes to making sure all the shades are available, that's where I think it's tricky. So let's look at what else I have in my little pile. I think that was it for foundations. Let's talk about cheek color. It seems like when I was looking through my stash, I was like, God, I have a lot of cheek products. Now, I know Hourglass still makes their palettes, but I think it did come a point where like they were very on it with their marketing of like, these just sold so well. And I have 4 that, again, I just can't throw them away. They're like out of date, like I wouldn't want to use them on my skin anymore, but I just think they're really beautiful and I love the way the kind of assortment of colors. So I have, and again, I don't know if, I'm sure, for example, like if you were to buy these individually, you can get the same colors, but they got so good at making these like beautiful palettes. And I remember when they did the marble one, I was like, gasp, it's so beautiful. So this one had this colorway, and I actually liked that it had the finishing powder in a large one. So this was like the marble edit, and it's just so pretty, so pretty. Then there was, and I can't remember what order these came out in. This is the Ghost palette. Who remembers this? Okay, so there's gonna be a lot of reflecting now. So the Ghost palette had the bronzer in. It had, I think, were these highlighters? Lighting, I think it was a mix of powders and highlighters, and the 2 blushes and the bronze. But again, I loved the Hourglass bronzer as an eyeshadow as well. I used to use that a lot as an eyeshadow. And then this was volume 3. So this is Lighting Edit volume 3. So again, they did a lot of these, and I think these just sell really well for them. Similar here, I think this was like dim light, ethereal light. I think you had like a highlighter, and then the blushes. And was it the bronzer again? Yeah, I think the bronzer seemed to be in most of them, but I love them. And then again, for the blushes, I think, did this one have mood exposure? Oh no, this was a strobe blush. So they did the blushes that were like quite highlighty. I had this palette, and again, they're so pretty. So they're like works of art. So I can't throw them away. I just feel like I'm not going to use them, but I like keeping them as like makeup memories, and they just kind of like give me the warm fuzzies when I see them. So because I worked as a professional makeup artist, one of the hardest things about not having to run the risk of injuring your back on a daily basis is condensing your kit, which really did become like a big trend over like the past sort of like 5-6 years. And I remember I would buy these from, I think it's Cosmetics is how you say it. These, and again, Grishan Roof, if you don't follow her, she's like the OG like kit condensing queen. And these, I remember putting all my liquid blushes into these because it made it so easy for me to carry stuff. And I was looking through them and I was like, oh, so many good ones here. I remember when Nars did Orgasm as a liquid blush. This kind of needs shaking, but to this day, the Nars liquid blushes were some of my favorites. I have here Nars Torrid in the liquid. Again, I don't know if they still make these, but it was so good. Nars Luster. Again, hopefully you can kind of like see the colors. They're just so good. Like if I put these 3 colors, I feel like I used to use these all the time in my editorial kit. Nars Dolce Vita. Anything they did that was like limited edition, I would put in here. M Cosmetics, which these still are made, and I have backups of these, thankfully, with the one with the little pipettes. Love the M Cosmetics. I think it's called like the Serum Color Blush. So good. And this was Amethyst and Sunset Sky, just like really the tiniest amount, went really far. And then this one I actually had to throw the bottle away because it was disgusting and smashed and sticky. But if ever there was like one highlighter that I think makeup artists just loved before highlighter was as much of a thing as it is now, it was the Becca Cosmetics highlighters. And in particular, I remember Becca, the liquid highlighter that came with the grey lid. That's the one I had that broke. It was the shade Pearl. So again, I don't want to smell this, but if I get some out and put it on my hand, just so you can see, it was white in the tube, but it became the most wonderful sheen. Like again, for red carpet, this never gave like a weird flashback or anything. and it just made skin look fantastic without looking glittery, without looking shimmery. And I still think it's a brilliant product, and I don't think they do this exact one anymore. Again, I remember Becca, didn't it like disappear and then it came back? I can't remember. But I just had to keep it because, again, the formula, I was just like, I need to remember that formula. It's so, so good. So other cheek products I wanted to, again, remember. This is partly packaging, part formula, part just had a lot of enjoyment using it. It's the Man Size 7, which I believe, let me see if this is going to focus, still exists. But this color in particular was beautiful. I used this so much. It's that all over color, and this was in Bisque. And I just love the formula. Very, very dewy. Again, I think this is one of those kind of like more natural brands, but I really loved it. And I was like, oh, all these are definitely out of date, but I just wanted to keep one because, again, formula. What else do we have? What else do we have? Who remembers these? Kajal Vice. Now, again, when I think about clean beauty movement, natural beauty movement, I have a lot of thoughts about that in general. However, I remember there was this kind of influx as a makeup artist of the luxury brands really kind of expanding within that market. And I remember when this brand came out, Kajal Vice, this is so weighty. It's like a really heavy paperweight. And the whole point was that you could just reusable, so it was also kind of like more sustainable. You bought the nice packaging, and then the makeup you had just came in like cardboard, and you popped it in to the nice pretty metal packaging. But again, this color, I think this was, is it Lovely or Blossom? I think it was Blossom. It says Lovely, but I think I put this into the wrong palette. But so beautiful, such a beautiful, and I think I'm someone who very much appreciates design as well as formula. And I love the way this was like a palette. It just swiveled. I felt like it was really easy to use on people, and you could kind of scrape bits out and put it on a palette. But yeah, I remember as far as like natural beauty products went that I could use on celebrities that performed well on red carpet, this was one of them. Kajal Vice was really, really good. And again, they are still available, so I think you can still get this. So when I was doing my clear out, my makeup clear out, there was one brand that I was like, I'm never gonna be able to throw these away because they're just so beautiful. And it is the Victoria Beckham Estee Lauder launch. Who remembers the Estee Lauder Victoria Beckham launch? So before there was Victoria Beckham Beauty, before there was the other collabs, there was Victoria Beckham and Estee Lauder. And I still to this day remember going to Selfridges and spending my own money on like the entire collection to make a YouTube video. I'll have to put an iCard up here with that video. It must be over 12 years ago. I don't know, it was a long time ago. And to this day, I just think the packaging was so incredibly beautiful. And the products, for the most part, again, this was Java Sun, the bronzer. It was really, really good. It was the big pans. I feel like she was competing with like Tom Ford. And I just thought it was such a good collection. I still love this. I still love this. And I think even another, well, you're gonna see some more of the Victoria Beckham pieces from that collection. And obviously like this is no longer available. You can buy her own brand now, Victoria Beckham Beauty, which I really like a lot of the stuff I've tried from there. But this, it was like leather ribbed packaging with this really weighty luxe compact, like gold edging. And it's beautiful. And again, when I was cleaning out my thing, I was like, I can't throw it away. Even if I just use it as a mirror, it's just too lovely. Okay, so let's move on to all things eyes. Now, you can still buy these, but again, design-wise, formula-wise, this product is such, like, I'll never, and I have backups. I have backups of brand new ones, so we're okay, because I'm scared they'll discontinue it. It is the Ellis Fast, I think it's called the Creamy Eyes, is what it's called. First of all, they come in this stunning, like silver bullet. The shades I have backups of are E126, and I think, or it's E127 and 128 and 126. I have a cheek one, and again, like the creamy eyes, just the pigment in these. I've never found a product. Okay, so this was how it came. You had kind of like the, let me hold it here. You had like the kind of doe foot, And this color in particular just looks, it's the perfect brown. And I remember my friend, another friend of mine who's a makeup artist, summing it up, and he was like, what it is that's so good is that these are matte, but they're not flat. So there's like a satinness to them that is just so incredibly beautiful. Another eye product that we have to talk about, which has been discontinued, and again, color and formula wise, I just had to keep, was this. It's the Smith & Cult Glitterbaby, the Metallic Shift eyeshadow. This blue color. Can we just have a moment? I think I have a video on YouTube of me wearing this. Oh, again, I just can't, it's almost like a duochrome. Like before we had duochromes as readily available as they are now. Oh my gosh, it's just so good. It's so, so beautiful. So I had to keep that. If I can find a video where I'm wearing this, I'm pretty sure there was one. I will link to it in an iCard, but oh gee, so, so good. I mentioned the Victoria Beckham makeup line she did with Estee Lauder. I remember when she did this, the duo eye crayon. So it had one end was this really intense smoky black liner, and one end was like a sort of nude kohl. And again, things like this exist, very easy to get now, but I think what she did with Estee Lauder that was so good was she thought about the condensing, the idea of an edit within a brand versus doing every single color of eyeshadow, every single color of lipstick. It was kind of like, okay, what are just the essentials that everyone wants to use? And I just remember this pencil being so creamy, so delightful to use. I loved it. Okay, lips. Lips is the last thing. And again, I think this exists, but I think it changed its name. So who remembers Bite Beauty, the lip bar? When the first iteration of it, when it was in LA, I remember being invited to make my own lipsticks. And look, you could like etch your name into the top. And there was a lipstick, I wanted to make my perfect nude. Again, this obviously ended up getting put into palettes when I travel, but this color, so, so good. So, so good. I want to be able to make that color again. And then I had a shade that I called Audrey, which was inspired by Audrey Hepburn, which was kind of like a salmon-y pinky. And actually what I used to do a lot is mix these two together. I actually found these were really, really good. But again, this is a makeup memory of being invited and getting to make my own lipsticks from start to finish and just loving the process. So I had to keep them. I had to keep them. I feel like I won't be using them anymore because they're old now. But again, the formula, the color, so, so good. And the last one I have is those Victoria Beckham Estee Lauder lipsticks. Like I said, there was so much in that collection I loved. Before we had this kind of like renaissance of like vintage inspired makeup, I feel like Victoria Beckham with the Estee Lauder collection did that so, so well. So the colors I have Chilean Sunset, which was a fantastic, it was like a tomato red. Such a good color. And then this one, I love this. It was Black Cassis. I think that's how you say it. Again, for autumn, fall, brilliant. Just such a beautiful color. It was really moisturizing and I loved it. So that is my makeup memory lane, a little walk down the items that for various different reasons, whether it's the formula, whether it's the packaging, the design, or the memory it invokes, just kind of gave me all the feels when I was looking through and decluttering my makeup collection. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to know in the comments, like if there's anything you have backups of, what kind of like triggers your makeup memories that have meaning to you. And yeah, this was really, really fun to do. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, come subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.